The nerve disease, the nerve pain, they call that the suicide disease. Did you ever wake up in the morning and think to yourself, kind of wish I didn't wake up this morning? And were there times when it got dark in your mind to where now when people come to you and they're like, hey, I read your book, it took me back from the edge, where you can sympathize with them and empathize with them and say, yeah, I've 100% been there. And I don't know the answer, but I know that these few things helped me. Is that something that you struggled with and then something that you've been able to help people through?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, I was at the edge in that I didn't want to live anymore. I was just too afraid to die, if that makes sense. And so I can definitely relate, and it touches my heart when I have other people that come to me and they're like, and I'm talking men and women. I have a guy that I've never met in person. We've only corresponded on Instagram, and he wrote to me that he was about to kill himself and he heard my voice in his head and he couldn't do it. And so if I can have an impact in helping someone to live a better life, I've had people that have had CRPS. I've pissed off a lot of people with CRPS.
Why is that?
I didn't know that. I wasn't trying to do that. But I think that, I was on the doctor's TV and they interviewed me and they cut out the part of the interview where it talks about all the different things that I've tried to get out of pain. And it just made me look like some girl who was on there in a nice blue dress going, yeah, hi, smiling. And I'm like, well, you'd be smiling too if you were looking at those gorgeous doctors,
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, hi, I'm so happy to be here,
Well,
And
why'd they cut the steak out of the show?
they made it all about mindset. Here, I had a horrible accident. I was diagnosed with this disease, and then I used this one tool called the PACER method that I came up with that's a mindset hack, and that's what cures pain. And I'm like, no. First of all, it doesn't cure pain. It gets you through pain. But I think that a lot of people with CRPS, I mean, I get it. They're upset, they're cranky, they're mad, they're like upset in life, but it's like I was just a mirror to maybe some of the things they weren't trying or doing,
What's the PACER method?
It stands for perspective, acceptance, community, endurance, and rest. And it's a lot of the things that we've talked about. Perspective, it's what I use gratitude for. It's the quickest and easiest way to shift your perspective is by getting grateful. It really puts your focus on what you can do instead of what you can't do. Acceptance is the very first part of any kind of transformation, getting real with ourselves, taking accountability so we can take the right action steps to move forward. Community, we've talked about. Endurance is where your passion and your perseverance comes into play. I don't think we get burnout because, we do what we love. It's when we forget, that we love this thing that we do. That we kind of get burnt out. So it's important to remember why you started. And that also helps me to get through I'm going to get through any tough situations like earlier today.
Yeah.
And then which is kind of the hard thing for me, is rest. But it's like taking time to rest and recover. And I hit the wall many times when I forgot to rest or I didn't want to rest. And it was like ended up in the hospital or, several times.
Well, there's no glory in seeing skid marks before the brick wall, man. If you're going to hit the wall, weld the pedal to the metal. That's what I say.